give a warm Texas welcome to Step Toothmaster Bay.
My name is Step Toothmaster Bay. I'm a dental technician. I specialize in cosmetic dentistry and implantology. Welcome to CDI Science. So I have to show this before I do my lectures all the time, most of the times, after the introduction, because my real name legally now is Step Toothmaster Bay. This picture was taken in my lab with my employee standing in the corner of it, and I just lowered myself and took a picture of his eye so that I could take a picture of the lab. Camera body, the lens, the flash, the bracket. So when the f-stop goes up, you could grab the focus on the posterior teeth as well. But you lose light. And this is how I carry this case. I make the lingual putty stent. I always make the lingual putty stent. Cut it back, build porcelain, add some effects, bake it, do the secondary buildup, skin layer it, contour. CT4 is a very flexible technique because you still have the incisal edge where it is, but you scoop right underneath the incisal edge. Like it. And then I would obviously put some brush strokes to cut back all the heavy stuff out of the way.
All right, everybody knows Gary Morgan. He's done our FDA and our OSHA for years. He's been part of my labs. He's been part of all my friends' labs, and he gives a great lecture.
A willful violation of OSHA, which used to be $75,000 per event per day, is now $123,000 per event per day. We want to talk about infection control right off the bat. Why? Because we've been talking about infection control for years, but I'm in dental practices and labs almost every day. And I go in and I monitor their compliance. And guess what? They're not doing what they should be doing. Why? What's the biggest hassle in doing infection control? Just doing it, right? Okay, but what is it? It's time. Little microbes have killed more people than anything else that exists on this earth. So what do we need to worry about? We need to worry about those microbes that required us to assume that all body fluids are potentially infectious using universal precaution. So chairside services put dental laboratory employees at high risk, and they have to be trained and told how to operate in that environment safely. Now, we've reduced that a lot with these new chemicals down to 3 minutes, and in some situations, 1 minute. Masks, this is a big issue right now with OSHA because there's a difference between a mask and a respirator. Employees were complaining about exposure to chemical dusts, fumes, and vapors. And all they were providing them was a surgical mask. 23% required 31 or more days away from work because of the non-fatal injury. 20% involved 3 to 5 days away from work. Okay, so she was asking about the situation where the doctor came into the lab and was demanding his stuff and he hadn't been paying for it. You have the right to hold that. They don't have the right to it.
They're all massage chairs in the first 3 rows. So.
Oh, and he has a haircut.
I got a haircut. Yeah.
For those of you who don't know Bobby Williams, this is the guy that really, in our neighborhood, if you will, has paved the way. He's really tested, portion that we're using, and he's a very influential person. So please help me welcome Bobby Williams.
So that's the name of my laboratory, Synergy Ceramics, and it was done purposely. My laboratory is the interaction of 2 or more agents or forces so that the combined effect is greater than the sum of the individual effects. I call my clients clients. They're my partners. And we as a profession need to get back to that. There's a big disconnect in our profession that I see a lot of dictatorships going on, which is complete BS in my mind. They can't do their jobs and without us, and we can't do our jobs without them. So how do we keep up with technology? This lecture today is about technology and handmade. The exhibit hall down there, it's all about printers, mills, whatever else you can do via electronically. We tend to forget what we do with this. These are my two greatest instruments. Actually, this one, I'm left-handed. So how do you keep up with technology? You don't. You educate yourselves. At the Coy Center, Pankey, Dawson, Spear, I don't care where you go. In my opinion, the best investment you can make in yourselves or in your laboratory is doing something like this. There was 45 clinicians in the audience. He never puts more than 45 seats in there. I was one of one, maybe two technicians every time. So who do you think those doctors that are going through that course are going to talk to during the lunch breaks? They want to talk to the technician in the room. It's amazing how many times I have gotten clients by just going out and attending courses and going through the program.
Our next speaker is currently the Western Regional Manager for Argon Corporation and speaks on various topics throughout the U.S. She's got over 32 years of experience and wealth of knowledge to share, and so please give her a round of applause.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. How we process our abutments and our proprietary digital workflow. Those are two things that I really want to focus on today because I think they're two of the things that help us or make us stand out in the marketplace. So again, we manufacture all of our own custom abutments from FDA titanium that we have. Requires approximately 30 to 35 different dimensions on those engineering drawings. So it could be, you could have a DME for implants, you could have a DME for the crowns you design for specific manufacturers. Manufacturers create DMEs. Most of them are getting equipped with them, but they chose a laboratory. They're on the West Coast. They chose a laboratory on the East Coast. And I asked them, why did you choose a laboratory that was on the East Coast? And they said, because that laboratory advertised that they were capable of handling our intraoral scans. So if you're not processing intraoral scans, it might be because doctors in your area don't know that you are capable of doing it, believe it or not. The number of phone calls I get on a weekly basis from a laboratory saying, I have a doctor, he said he's going to be sending me a scan tomorrow. And it's a perfect opportunity to say, doctor, a scan body is not just an impression post, it's a workflow. And the workflow for this particular company is incomplete. But let's try to help our doctors not get in that position because it's frustrating for everybody. So again, with that, I will say thank you for having us. And I will leave you with my email in the event that you need something. Thank you guys very much.
Yes. Sorry, you're not my type. But thank you.